The Academy Awards, they're tomorrow. I thought I'd do a prediction video, which I did last year. I'm always bad with predictions, to be totally honest. I am a big fan of surprises, and more often than not, they do tend to be a little bit predictable, but there are surprises here and there. And I think this year may be a pretty decent year for surprises. A lot is up in the air this year. So yeah, I thought I'd do hopefully a quick video, hopefully quick, and give my input. I've been watching the awards since maybe the late 90s, so I always like to do my little predictions and guesses and things like that. So I have my little cheat sheet here that I have some categories written. I will be omitting the bathroom break categories, just some of the more major ones, some of the more talked about ones. No disrespect to any of the other achievements in other categories. It's just that I don't want this video to end up being as long as the ceremony itself, which tends to be kind of long. So let's get right into it. First category I'll talk about here: Best Animated Feature. For this award, we have Big Hero 6, we have The Box Trolls, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Song of the Sea, and The Tale of Princess Kaguya. I've seen none of these, so I don't really know. And that's almost kind of the controversy somewhat of a controversy that there was last year, where a lot of Academy Award voters, they outright kind of admitted that I didn't see any of these. I pass on voting, basically. And then Frozen ended up winning almost by default. Not to say that Frozen didn't deserve it, but that kind of surfaced, and I don't know, just kind of showed the state of things and how the Academy works and how they don't necessarily have to vote and whatever. So I mean, it's an interesting category still. I mean, they've had this category since 2001. Shrek kind of gave a little push. We don't really want to nominate this for Best Picture because it's Shrek, but Best Animated Feature, that might be okay. So yeah, without having seen any of the movies, it's hard to really say. I know the Lego Movie, that was kind of a big favorite to be nominated, so that was snubbed. That was one of the bigger snubs that people were talking about. So here it's a little bit up in the air. I mean, we have a few good movies, and kind of in the same vein of last year. Probably if you see like Disney, Pixar, whatever, it's going to be like auto vote to that. Like, oh, well, sure, give it to the Disney, Pixar. So I would say more than likely, I'm going to put my prediction with Big Hero 6, even though I haven't seen it, don't know how good it is. A lot of people say, audiences and critics alike, loved How to Train Your Dragon 2. So maybe that will win. Also, considering that Miyazaki, he's being given an honorary award. Maybe they'll give the anime film, the Princess Kaguya award. Show that the style of animation is still alive and well, still beloved, but who knows? Probably I'll say my prediction is Big Hero 6 for that one. But what can I say? Who should win? I've seen none, so I pass on voting. Yeah. So next category, original score. We have The Imitation Game by Alexandre Desplat. We have The Grand Budapest Hotel by Alexandre Desplat. Interstellar, Hans Zimmer. The Theory of Everything by Johan Johansson. And Mr. Turner by Gary Jernsten, I believe his name is. Alexandre Desplat, he's been nominated so much. He's kind of turning into the Randy Newman of this generation. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. So they might give it to him for this year, but the thing is, for which movie? Would they give it to him for Grand Budapest or Imitation Game? I thought the score for Grand Budapest Hotel was really good. I haven't seen The Imitation Game, so it's hard to say there. But they might end up giving it, I would say my prediction would be Johan Johansson. Only because The Theory of Everything, it does have good music, to be honest, and it kind of heightens, the emotions of the movie or whatever. And he's won quite a few precursors. I know he won the Golden Globe for that. So I would say Johan Johansson, if not for the fact that he won the precursors, or maybe just because he has a little bit of the star power, as he is, I believe he's related to Scarlett Johansson, so that might be it too. Anyway, next category, Best Makeup and Hairstyling. We have Foxcatcher, we have Grand Budapest Hotel, and Guardians of the Galaxy. This one, it's a tough category. My gut instinct says, Foxcatcher, because I thought it really accentuated Steve Carell's performance, and he's, any interview you see with him, he's always praising the work. So that's kind of my gut instinct. But at the same time, they may give it to something like Grand Budapest Hotel, which is getting just a slight bit more Oscar love, I think. So maybe that. But then again, maybe Guardians of the Galaxy too, because it had really elaborate makeup, and of course the movie made $1 bajillion, so that doesn't help, or that doesn't hurt either. But you know what? I'm gonna go with my gut. I'm going to say Foxcatcher. I think it will win, and I think it deserves to win. Best visual effects, we have Captain America, The Winter Soldier, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Guardians of the Galaxy, Interstellar, and X-Men, Days of Future Past. I'm going to go with Interstellar because it has the shortest title. It's a long enough show that every second counts. Probably, this is a little bit of a tough one. I mean, again, they may go with like kind of the big popular, well, they're all big popular movies. This is pretty much the summer blockbuster category, all the big superhero movies, things like that. So they may go with Guardians, just because it was such a popular movie. But I don't know, I'd say, out of this list here, I would say Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. But they all have good effects. Like, what's kind of cool about this category, actually, is that X-Men Days of Future Past, since 2000, we've had these movies going on for 14 years now. We've had 7 X-Men movies. This is the first one to ever be nominated for an Academy Award, which is kind of cool. And the effects are great. So maybe part of me would want it to win just on kind of that alone, because it has been such a tentpole series and really done a lot. For the superhero genre, and beginning in 2000, kind of showing that it can be not just for kids, it can be this kind of mature thing, and not resorting to rebooting and still keeping the franchise kind of fresh and innovative. I think it's just an amazing series of films, so I'd love to see them at least get a little bit of something. And I actually haven't, I have to admit, I haven't seen Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I hear it's great, and I love Rise, so I don't know why I never got the chance to see it, but I'm going to say Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, just because Rise didn't win. It lost to Hugo the year it was nominated, so yeah, I think they're going to make up for that, and I'm sure the effects are incredible. If they're half as good as Rise, then absolutely deserves it. Next category, we have your Best Film Editing. Boyhood for Sandra Adair, The Grand Budapest Hotel for Barney Pilling, Whiplash, Tom Cross, American Sniper, Joel Cox and Gary Roach, and The Imitation Game, William Goldberg. This is an important character, an important category, I should say. Many times, not always, but a lot of times this will kind of coincide with whatever wins Best Picture, because they kind of think, oh, this is a good movie, it must have good editing, whatever. So it's kind of tough to say, because Best Picture probably is a little bit up in the air. I would say kind of my knee-jerk is to say Boyhood should win, just because, think about when this movie started and where the art of editing was. This movie started and went through and ended at right at the height of like the digital revolution. Movies are being filmed digitally, films are being edited digitally, films are being projected and screened digitally. So much has changed, and so has the craft of editing. So to see this movie go through all that, I think it has a very good chance of winning. And people say it's a gimmick, but it is filming over 12 years. It is an achievement. How else can you really put it? It really is an achievement. So I would say Boyhood would win. That's my prediction. And to be honest, I think it should win. I think it should win in at least that category. Best Cinematography, we have Birdman by Emmanuel Lubezki. We have The Grand Budapest Hotel, Robert D. Yeoman. Mr. Turner by Richard Feces. Unbroken by Roger Deakins. Ida by Lukas Zau and Ryszard Lenczewski. Another good category. Cinematography, always a great category. And talk about always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Roger Deakins, this is his 12th Academy Award nomination. Hasn't won it all. So kind of my gut is saying, let's just give it to him, finally. I mean, really, Roger Deakins, what a fucking legend this guy is. I would say he really deserves it, just on principle alone. I haven't seen the movie, but kind of on principle alone. So that'll be my prediction. What I think should win? Birdman. Absolutely. So cool. So yeah, there's that. So I think Birdman should win, but I would say, just on sentiment alone, they're going to give it to Deakins, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Just giving someone their due. So yeah, there's that. 12 nominations. Hasn't won a single one. Come on. Next category here. This is a good one. Best Adapted Screenplay. We have American Sniper by Jason Hall, Inherent Vice, Paul Thomas Anderson, The Imitation Game, Graham Moore, The Theory of Everything, Anthony McCartan, and Whiplash, Damien Chazelle. So this is actually, it's hard to say who's going to win this category, because we have a lot of, I would say we wouldn't have necessarily the favorites in this category, like for Best Picture, I mean, except for, maybe Theory of Everything, which I wasn't a big fan of that movie, nor its screenplay, so I don't think it should win, but it might, if, say, the movie gets swept up and has like surprise wins, they might give it to that. Same principle with American Sniper. Didn't like that either. Neither of these two movies have business in this category, to be honest. But it might win if American Sniper gets kind of swept up in these awards, which it might. It's a big hit. I could see that happening. But I would say, what I want to win? Whiplash. I mean, everyone's going to say that. Whiplash for its screenplay. Damien Chazelle, I think it's probably kind of a toss-up between Whiplash and Theory of Everything to win. Also, here's my prediction. I think Theory of Everything will win, though it shouldn't. But it is such a I don't know. It's an assembly line Oscar bait kind of movie. And it's written in such a way that maybe the Academy will eat that up. So that's what I think will win. What I think should win, and what might be the upset, is Whiplash for Damien Chazelle. And I hope it does. I really do. Then again, it can be completely a surprise and have Paul Thomas Anderson win for Inherent Vice, which he's been in this. He's been nominated for his movie since Boogie Nights, so they may want to give him his dues. But I don't think his big winner has just come. He was really close, I think, with There Will Be Blood. But I think they're gonna keep him to the sidelines for now with a more acclaimed movie, a bigger win maybe. So yeah, I'll say Theory of Everything. It pains me to say that, but I think Theory of Everything. We have, of course, a Best Original Screenplay. A lot of great movies in this category. We have Boyhood, written by Richard Linklater. We have Birdman, written by Alejandro González Iñárritu, Nicolas Giacobone, Alexander Dinelaris, Armando Bo, Gilligan, The Skipper 2, The Millionaire and His Wife, The Movie Star, The Professor and Marianne, Foxcatcher, written by E. Max Fry and Dan Futterman, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Wes Anderson, Hugo Guinness, Nightcrawler by Dan Gilroy. All, pretty tight categories, I think. One of the things about Nightcrawler was it got snubbed in everything. Best Actor, Best Picture, Director. So at least its screenplay was its one kind of aspect where it got a little bit of love. So maybe they might want to kind of make up for the other losses elsewhere. But here's what my prediction would be. I'd say Boyhood is probably going to win. Only because, and here's why. I don't think it's going to win Best Director for Linklater. And, they'll want to give Linklater something. Just because he's been around so long, they want to give him his dues. And if it's not going to be director, which I don't think it will be, they'll at least want to give him for a screenplay. Not that it's necessarily the best of the screenplays written, but, when you think about it, this isn't the strongest screenplay, but at the same time, it's subtle work. He's directing the movie, working on the movie, and kind of writing the characters as the actors themselves develop. And, that's a process. To write something so fairly consistently throughout 12 years. I mean, if not director, he's got to win this. So I think he's either going to win one or the other. I would lean more towards this. What do I want to win? I want Foxcatcher to win, but I don't think it will. And what might be kind of maybe surprise, or maybe it is kind of in the front line to win, Grand Budapest Hotel. Wes Anderson, he's been around forever, but he's never really gotten any love except for Grand Budapest Hotel. Between this and 13 years ago with Royal Tenenbaums, he hasn't been nominated, so there's a big gap between those nominations. So they might give it to him, but I'm going to predict Boyhood will win for a screenplay. That's what I kind of think. What else do we got? Oh, the acting category is always very exciting. Best Supporting Actress, we have Boyhood, Patricia Arquette; Wild, Laura Dern; The Imitation Game, Keira Knightley; Birdman, Emma Stone; Into the Woods, Meryl Streep. Again, I'm probably going to say Arquette, Patricia Arquette. She's been winning everything, unless, say, by some miracle, Birdman gets absolutely showered, absolutely sweeps everything. I would say maybe Emma Stone might win it, or maybe even Laura Dern, just because she is such a great actress, and she's been around for so long, never really gotten her dues, so she might be a surprise. But I'd say go with the safe bet and say it's going to be Patricia Arquette. Well deserved too. Out of all of these, yeah, I would say she deserves it. She was one of the best aspects of Boyhood, so I'd say it'd be well deserved if she does win. Best Supporting Actor, we have Whiplash, J.K. Simmons. Oh, there's other people nominated. The Judge, Robert Duvall; Boyhood, Ethan Hawke; Birdman, Edward Norton; and Foxcatcher, Mark Ruffalo. I mean, really, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's going to be J.K. Simmons. It's his year, and it is absolutely going to be well deserved. No one here comes close to the hype that he's gotten, and to the great performance. I mean, not taking away from the great performance. Ethan Hawke was great. I didn't see The Judge. Edward Norton was fucking fantastic in Birdman, and I love Mark Ruffalo in Foxcatcher. But this is J.K. Simmons' year. If you could bet your life on any sure thing in this category, or in any of the categories, I should say, J.K. Simmons. He'll get it, I'm sure. For Best Actress, we have 2 Days, One Night, Marion Cotillard; The Theory of Everything, Felicity Jones; Gone Girl, Rosamund Pike; Still Alice, Julianne Moore; and Wild, Reese Witherspoon. I've seen only 2 of these performances here, Rosamund Pike in Gone Girl, and Felicity Jones in The Theory of Everything. I would love to see Rosamund Pike win. It was such a great performance. I'd love to see her just kind of be the surprise winner, because she hasn't really been winning everything. She's been getting a lot of nominations, but I mean, clearly this seems to be Julianne Moore's year. Just because I think it's time that she won something. Much like with Paul Thomas Anderson, she's been getting nominations since Boogie Nights and hasn't won a single one. That seems a little unfair to me. So I think they'll give it, just again, kind of paying her dues and finally giving her something, which she more than deserves. Julianne fucking Moore deserves an Oscar on her shelf. End of story. The only upset could probably be Felicity Jones if they decide to, shower Theory of Everything with Oscars, which again they might do. It's an unpredictable year, Felicity Jones's performance is absolutely a milestone, because it is the first performance in history to consist entirely out of for-your consideration clips. Anyway, I think it's going to be Julianne Moore, who I think should win. Out of the 2 I've seen, Rosamund Pike in Gone Girl. She fan-fucking-tastic in that movie. She should win, I think. But then again, maybe Julianne Moore is absolutely amazing. She's Julianne Moore. I'm sure she is. But next category, here's where we separate the boys from the men. Best Actor category, always a really tight category. We have Foxcatcher, Steve Carell; The Imitation Game, Benedict Cumberbatch; American Sniper, Bradley Cooper; Birdman, Michael Keaton; The Theory of Everything, Eddie Redmayne. Now, for this award, every precursor seems to be Eddie Redmayne. He's won the BAFTA, he's won the Golden Globe, he's won the SAG Award, and it's probably going to be him. I mean, my gut would tell me him. But if I can steal a quote from High Fidelity, my guts have shit for brains. So I want to follow my heart with this one. I so badly, with every fiber of my being, want Michael Keaton to win. So that's going to be my prediction. I want to bet my soul, fiber of my being, whatever. I want him to win. And I think the Academy should do the right thing. I hope they do, and give him the Academy Award. Because, I mean, the thing is, Eddie Redmayne, The Theory of Everything, it's just such I don't know, a pandering movie, such an we won Academy Awards kind of movie, and then it's almost become this like joke about the Academy that, oh, if you play someone with a disability, you'll win the Oscar. I think this is their chance to go for a ballsier choice, which would absolutely be Michael Keaton, and I do think he's the best. And I've said in previous awards, previous videos, how much I love Steve Carell. But Michael Keaton, he deserves it. He really does. So that's going to be my bet. He will win, and he should win. So that's going to be it. I know it's a dark horse, but what can you do? Another tight category, Best Director. We have Boyhood, Richard Linklater, Birdman, Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu, Foxcatcher, Bennett Miller, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Wes Anderson, and The Imitation Game, Morton Tyldum, some British guy. Probably down between Boyhood and Birdman. I'm going to go with Birdman, Iñárritu. I think he's going to win for two reasons. One, because he won the Directors Guild Award, I think. That has a really close track record. Not all the time, but like 90% of the time. The DGA winner will win the Oscar. Two, I think it's a better directed movie. So there's that. Not that that matters, right? And if we want to throw a third one in, this is, I don't know, Oscar politics, but I mean, they've come under some criticism this year for being very white, awarding and nominating mostly white, or all white people in the acting categories at least. So to have a Hispanic director win, I think will at least kind of show that, yeah, we can, have a little bit of diversity here. And the director is the god of all the actors, right? So, I mean, that'll make a statement, I think. And we did have Alfonso Cuarón win last year. So Iñárritu, he could be the Buzz Aldrin of Hispanic filmmakers, being the second to win in a row. And I think he should win. I mean, Bennett Miller, I think he's one of the best directors working, but I would just give the slight edge to Iñárritu because Birdman, just absolutely fucking fantastic movie. So yeah, I guess the final category I'll talk about here, Best Picture. We have American Sniper, Birdman, Boyhood, The Imitation Game, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Selma, The Theory of Everything, and Whiplash. So it's an unpredictable year. It's really hard to say. I mean, a few weeks ago, I mean, probably you'd want to say Boyhood is kind of what's going to win. But there's always kind of that movie that first leads the buzz. Like American Hustle was kind of thought to end up being the winner, and then 12 Years a Slave finally won it, rightly so, I think. Even with like Hugo, a lot of people thought Hugo was going to win, then The Artist won, so it's really hard to say. Still right now, I mean, we can't really say it's between one or two movies. I could absolutely see American Sniper winning. It's made the most buck out of all these movies combined. Probably it's like the third highest grossing movie of the year. So they're definitely going to take that into consideration. They might make it like a Gladiator type of win, where maybe it's not necessarily the best with critics, but audiences have their voice. So I could absolutely see that happening, and even I could see Bradley Cooper pulling an upset. Just like with Gladiator and Russell Crowe. So there's that, but then there's also The Theory of Everything, which, Eddie Redmayne, he's winning all these awards. The movie itself, not so much, but I could see it, getting some love and kind of being the surprise winner. And it's I don't know, just very Academy friendly type of movie. But I didn't think it was that good, and I didn't think American Sniper was that good. I've seen out of all these movies, I've seen 6 out of the 8. Birdman, excellent. Grand Budapest Hotel, excellent. Whiplash, excellent. Haven't seen The Imitation Game. Haven't seen Selma. American Sniper didn't like. Theory of Everything didn't like. Boyhood, kind of in the middle. So with that in mind, I think they're going to go for the middle road. I think they're going to go with something that maybe isn't the ballsiest choice. I think the ballsiest choice would be Birdman to win, I would say. I would hope American Sniper doesn't win. I would hope Theory of Everything doesn't win, because those are pretty uninspired choices, I'd say. Grand Budapest Hotel, that'd be a great surprise. Whiplash would be a great surprise. But I think they're going to go kind of in the middle of the road. I wouldn't say it's the best movie, but it has that kind of extra gimmick to it, if you want to call it a gimmick, being filmed over that long period of time. So at least it has something a little bit extra. Imitation Game is pretty much on there because it is a Weinstein production, and they're legally required to nominate a Weinstein film. That's absolutely true. Selma's there. It has one other nomination, so it's obviously not a favorite of the movies nominated. So I mean, we can really narrow it down to maybe 4: American Sniper, Birdman, Boyhood, and Theory of Everything, with possibly the Grand Budapest Hotel, possibly Whiplash. But my official prediction for this video going to be Boyhood. So I think it'll win Best Picture, I think it'll win Best Screenplay, Editing, and Supporting Actress. So I think it'll have a nice little bundle of 4. So that's what I think, but anything could happen. That's the great thing about the Oscars, so who knows? I guess we'll see tomorrow when I'm absolutely wrong about everything. But let's see. I have one final prediction to make, and that is Neil Patrick Harris is going to be the best host in decades, and it's going to be a pretty sweet gig that he'll come back to. We love you, Neil. You're going to do a great job. You're the man. So I think it's going to be legend. Wait for it. Dairy. So thanks for watching. These are my predictions. What do you think? Let me know below. I think I've gone on for a pretty long time now. Comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you at the Oscars tomorrow.